The Callisto Protocol is an upcoming survival horror game being developed by Striking Distance Studios, whose director was the co-creator of the Dead Space series, a much beloved series in the horror genre itself. But what do we know about the Callisto Protocol? How will it compare to Dead Space? Well, here is everything we know so far about the Callisto Protocol. Currently, the game is set to be released on the 2nd of December 2022, with the studio saying they're currently giving the game a general polish and bug squishing, so hopefully this date is fixed and less likely to move away. The Callisto Protocol is set 300 years in the future, the year 2320, on one of the moons of Jupiter called Callisto. On this moon resides a prison called Black Iron. This is where the Callisto Protocol will take place. Our protagonist is named Jacob Lee. They will find themselves imprisoned in Black Iron early in the game, where they will be plunged into an alien invasion of the prison itself, starting a story of an unfolding conspiracy while Jacob tries to survive. Striking Distance Studio, when originally created, was tasked with the expansion of the PUBG universe, the PlayerUnknown's Battleground universe, of which we know the Battle Royale game very well at this point. With a narrative-driven game, however, the Callisto Protocol was agreed to be part of this expansion narrative until around May 2022, where it has been stated the game will retain nods to the PUBG universe, however they are no longer connected to each other. As you explore the prison and try to understand what is going on and ultimately how you're going to escape, you will be faced against biophages, mutated humans, as the main adversaries in the Callisto Protocol, but we'll get into more detail about them specifically later. What has been described by director Glenn Schofield is they wanted to make the scariest game in the genre, which is quite a title to try and achieve. To achieve this, we can see from the gameplay footage and trailers how grim, dark and unsettling the prison itself is. Even without the added biophages in there, bodies are hanging from the ceiling, growths and dimly lit unsettling areas in general, dismembered bodies littering the areas. It's not just the general environment layout that Callisto Protocol will use to claim the scariest game title, with Glenn Schofield saying we'll try and get you early in the game, like when you open a door and something's there. Then, hopefully, you're worried about every door. And then after about 5 levels, when we don't get you at the door, you kind of let your guard down again. And then we get you. There is a lot of timing. So timing of possible jump scares will make its way to the prison, and I'm confident enemies being behind doors won't be the only jump scare Striking Distance have up their sleeve. Striking Distance Studio have also said difficulty will be used to help build a more tense atmosphere. The game isn't going to be Dark Souls difficult, but neither will it be a walk in the park. I'm guessing the difficulty will more align to the likes of Dead Space and the later Resident Evil games, which aren't super difficult but are still difficult enough that you're watching every corner, being careful and more wary of your moves. This will inevitably increase the immersiveness, which will complement the aforementioned horror elements. You'll be able to explore the different areas of the prison, finding audio logs and other lore entries to build the narrative around Black Iron Prison itself. Likely these will help describe the past of the prison alongside the immediate present and what's going on, building up and exploring what it's like in Black Iron Prison itself, which hopefully, if there is success with this game, will allow a universe for future expansion. Where Dead Space has necromorphs, the Callisto Protocol has biophages. Very similar in looks, they look like mutated humans. When we're talking about mutants, I'm not on about the X-Men humans. They look more like the stuff out of Nightmares, which obviously by Striking Distance standards is exactly what they intended. You'll see different biophages. Some are blind, while others have been warped so far from being human that it's almost hard to believe they were once the inmates and guards of Black Iron itself. The biophages themselves do have a lot of comparisons to their Dead Space counterparts, both trying to look as grotesque and unsettling to the player as possible. With these different types of biophages, we've seen clips and screenshots of mutants that look very different from each other, suggesting that they'll have different abilities and fight the player in different ways, perhaps from range and melee, spicing up from just having the same enemy type. This will mean players have to alter their tactics depending on who they're facing. The biophages have also been given some much needed TLC. We'll talk about later the finishing moves of Jacob against these mobs, however, Striking Distance have made it fair game, where the biophages will have unique kill animations if they are able to take down our protagonist. Seeing one example where Jacob's appendages are ripped apart very tastefully. Biophage behavior is also likely to change during combat. Dismemberment is a thing in the Callisto Protocol. Removing legs will cause the biophage to crawl towards you. Removing arms stop them from swinging at you, causing them to try and bite instead. This will allow Jacob to use this to his advantage, again adjusting taxes to suit how the behavior of the enemy changes. I can see dismemberment and enemy behaviors being a key tactic in dispatching hostiles as efficiently as possible. With necromorphs being pretty much the only enemy in Dead Space until its 3rd installment, moment, the Callisto Protocol takes a different route by introducing another enemy right out of the bat. Instead of just having morphs of the different biophages, Jacob will also come across security robots. We haven't seen too much on these, but they are thematically fitting for a prison set in the future. These robots don't suffer from the coils of human form in flesh, so they haven't been mutated, but don't think this will make them easy though. They are designed to keep inmates in the prison, so expect these mechanical fiends to be just as much of a challenge, if not more in some cases, than their mutated flesh counterparts. Jacob Lee is our main character, finding themselves in Black Iron Prison, trying to survive and, if possible, escape. Josh Duhamel provides the voice acting for Jacob, who has an extremely extensive acting profile, most notably in the Transformers series. Jacob will find himself on the Jupiter moon of Callisto and seemingly in the Black Iron Prison. We do have information as to why he's there already, but to limit spoilers, I've not included them here. The third-person look is being carried over from Dead Space, along with a variety of similar noticeable aesthetics in Jacob's portrayal compared to its Dead Space counterpart. The most notable thing is the suit. It is so Dead Space. Striking Distance Studio have dusted off the diegetic HUD from Dead Space. What is this HUD? Well, it's all of your health and important information for your character, but instead of just being on your screen like in many games, you know, health in this corner, ammo in that corner, this information is found on the suit itself. For example, the health is located on the neck of the suit. Jacob will not be helpless in Black Iron, with a variety of weapons at his disposal, a mixture of melee and range weapons being used in Callisto Protocol, and they're all upgradable. Glenn Schofield confirmed that all weapons will be upgradable, with skill tree type systems for each weapon. He also went on to say that you wouldn't be able to get the whole upgrade tree for one weapon in a single playthrough, paving the way for a reason to replay the Callisto Protocol post your initial run, adding some of that replayability factor. To upgrade these weapons, you'll need to find 3D printers around the prison. These will act as stations where you can then access those upgrade trees. Alongside normal firearms, we also are introduced to a special weapon similar to the gravity gun out of Half-Life, the GRP tool. This tool will allow Jacob to push and pull objects and biophages, stunning them briefly before setting them flying. You'll be able to use this tool to interact with the environment, allowing you to diverse your engagement tactics with the enemy, including being able to rip enemies apart. I probably should have said that bit earlier. In one demo, we saw Jacob stun an enemy, then switch to another weapon to finish them off. But having brutal takedowns isn't just limited to the GRP tool or the biophages mentioned earlier. Trailers have shown brutal stomps on enemies and other moves, likely with so many more that haven't even been revealed yet. Jacob obviously isn't afraid to get up close and personal in this game. So what have I missed? Callisto Protocol looks set to be a real rival to the Dead Space franchise. I know I am super excited about it. Have I missed anything? Is there something else you're really looking forward to? Let me know in those comments below. And all I can say is I will definitely be playing this game on December the 2nd when it releases. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like. And if you are looking forward to Callisto Protocol, I'd love to see what you think of Warhammer 40,000 Darktide when it releases. You can find a video about it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.